Now it's 8 o'clock Saturday. Welcome everyone. Pathways. Hey. Good evening. Tonight is very important as the contest season. Are you ready? I am not. Not right now. But we'll be ready later. By the way, 我的名字叫做乌巴玉，非常感谢大家今天晚上来参加。现在目前呢，我们今天为大家特别准备了所有你应该要知道的 speaking skill evaluation。那同时呢，我们为了要要要顾及所有会有你们要所有知道的一个学习的权利，我们甚至以双语进行，实在是太不简单了。那我的话要说得快，要少说，因为我们准备了有3个 sessions，这3个 session，第一个是 public speaking skills。那同时呢，第2个 session 是讲 evaluations，第3个是讲 judges，你如何在这段时间要小了解，在今年有很多的一些的新的一些的 judge 方面，您必须要知道，在裁判或甚至保护您做你的 contestant 的一个权益。OK， 好，let's start from my first session, very important。我在介绍这个 session 之前呢，我们要讲到就叫做 public speaking。请问各位会友，你以为我们成人就是学习演讲的吗？其实我们刚刚开始学习演讲的时候，是跟在从很小很年轻的时候，我们就开始在学习了。那我们要一看，先来学习一下，在我们的 D67 有一群35位的小朋友们，他们是如何练习 public speaking 的。Let's get started to learn our flow. 对 speaking 来讲的话，对我们来说是每一个人都可以学习的。它本身来说的话，就是那么的简单。可是对我们的成人来讲，我们有的时候会说，我们应该要如何去学习，才能够是真正的在 public speaking，我够不够好，我能不能够做到这些？其实 level club 这些的孩子，小学2年级的时候就开始了。那其实我们的 Gavel Clubs 的一个 founder 跟我们的一个能够在最拥护招他们的呢，等一下就为大家去了解这一段整一个历程，以及告诉我们如何去 overcome 我们的一些对我们演讲的一些的害怕。这些，同时告诉大家很多的一些的诀窍，关于如何把我们的演讲做好，帮助您的演讲。那开始呢，我要介绍这位帮我们的翻译者，他就是我们 L 部的执行长 Victor。Stage is yours, Victor. Let's welcome Victor.
Welcome. Good evening, everyone. Have you ever participated in the speech contest? Please let me know in the chat box, or you can turn on your voice. It's okay. Are you ready? 嗯，在我介绍我们的 My Contact 以前，我想要 先特别讲一段我跟他的故事，就是在2018年的时候，我刚进去 Toastmaster 这个分会，丰原分会，然后我们都有 introduction session 嘛，然后那时候我被 Q 上来，然后我完全一个字都讲都在手都在抖，然后一个字都讲不出来，然后麦克风的就是坐在白板前面，然后我不知道为什么他要坐在前面，然后我觉得很可怕。可是呢，当他用非常诚恳而且温暖的眼神跟我说 “No pressure”，然后顿时我就觉得我心里豁然开朗，然后我就勇敢的把那30秒的自我介绍讲完了。所以这也是我加入 Toastmaster 其中一个很重要的原因。然后直到现在加入了4、5年了，我可以这样子在台上跟大家侃侃而谈。我要非常感谢 Mike Honda。OK，and the Mike Honda he is currently have two gable clubs, Gable Club and the Roots and Shoots Gable Club. And second, he is currently District 67 Gable Club Coordinator. And also, he got the top 3 district champion from 2018 to 2020. Yeah. Okay. I will I have a chance to meet with the Gablers. I was surprised with their incredible talent. Seeing is believing. Wish that we all have chance to see those amazing youngest today. So welcome our Mike introduce Gable Club. Okay, Mike, welcome you.
Showtime! Hello, everybody. Good evening and Happy New Year to everybody out there spending their time this evening and investing in yourself. And, hopefully this year we're all going to have great breakthroughs. So I'm glad you're here investing in yourself. And I'm going to be here sharing some of my experiences with you, being a public speaking coach and learning to share some of my experiences and some tips on how you can be a better speaker, and also being a Gavel Club coordinator and how I've also learned as a coach how to be better myself. So right now, before we get started, I have something very special for you. We have a very special speaker. Her name is Olivia, and she is in my public speaking class. And next month, she will also be a new Gavel Club member. And she's here to deliver a very special speech just for you this evening. So I hope you're ready. Listen carefully. Let's welcome Olivia.
Behind mine. Meet Mandy. 2 years ago, my teacher assigned me to help her with math. I mean, totally sucks. Every time she saw numbers on a sheet of paper, her eyes became dazed. She looked at me and said, I don't feel too good. Mandy, I know how you feel. We'll get through this together. I promise. And we became best friends ever since. I told her everything. But this year, when I shared with her my goal of applying for senior high school, she said, so what? Don't show off, and marched off. Ouch. Well, I thought she was on my side. I was confused. Fine, I don't want to hang out anyways. Mandy became judgmental as time went by. I couldn't even focus in class. We stopped talking to each other. I thought for sure this was the end of our friendship. Has this ever happened to you? One Saturday night, in my bedroom, my iPhone rang. Mandy? It rang and rang. My heart skipped a beat. Olivia, can we talk? What? I thought you didn't want to talk to me anymore. Well, I was angry because you started to ignore me. What? You were ignoring me, okay? And I was really hurt by your words. I'm sorry. At that moment, I realized that maybe she was right. For months, I was so busy preparing for my exams that maybe, Mandy, I feel really sorry for letting you feel like I was ignoring you. I didn't mean it. You are my BFF. Our friendship grew stronger over the years. Fellow judges and math lovers, I learned an important lesson from Mandy that day. That if I were to value my friendship with her, I would have to reconnect sooner or later. And I found that the key to mend our relationship was to just pick up my phone. Do you have someone in your life that you need to reach out to? If so, just pick up your phone. Thank you.
What? Well,
Thank you,
congratulations.
Olivia. That was pretty good. Pretty good. I could never do that. Thank you so much, Olivia. Back to you, Victor.
Yeah. As we know, visiting dentists and public speaking are most scared. How do we overcome the fear in delivering speech, presenting in front of the audience? Yeah. Please, Mike, please answer us.
Okay. Thank you so much, Victor. So I'm going to just give you some general tips on what I've experienced and how I can share it with you. So first of all, if you want to be a better speaker, well, number one, join a Toastmasters club. That's what Toastmasters is for. It's a place where you can come to practice. So a lot of people usually come and ask me, well, how can I get better at public speaking? And I always tell them, join the Toastmasters club. Victor, you want to translate that?
Uh, you can you can tell all of it, and I will
Wow, okay,
contribution
you must have
at the
great
end.
memory. I'm going to keep going then. Here we
Yeah.
go. And the next part is don't don't wait for opportunities to speak. Try to be proactive because when you are looking for opportunities to get better, the opportunities sometimes don't come to you. You have to go to the opportunities. So whenever you have a chance to speak, take those chances, be proactive, and go look for places or areas where you can speak. Okay. Uh, Next part is that, be comfortable being uncomfortable. This is a very important point that I think I'd like to make. Hold on a second. My apologies. Be comfortable. So, Jackie, there's something on the screen. Can't see it. My apologies, some technical difficulties.
Oh, now it's good.
Oh, okay, sorry about that. Okay, so be comfortable being uncomfortable. Whenever you're up there and you're speaking in front of people, just expect that you will most likely be uncomfortable, but deliver your speech anyways. And one of the ways you can start to feel uncomfortable is not always to speak or deliver your speeches at your own club. Because when you start delivering your speeches in places that you often start to feel comfortable, you stop growing. So try, for example, deliver your speeches at other clubs where people might not know you as much, and you'll start to feel uncomfortable. But those are the moments that actually help you to become better. Okay, next, practice speaking in public. This is one thing that I often ask my own Gavel Club and public speaking students to do, is whenever they are practicing their speeches, try not to practice alone when nobody's around. So try practicing at different places where there's lots of people around. For example, at clubs, parks, empty parking lots, school grounds, supermarkets, anywhere there's people, and just speak. I know this might actually sound a little bit scary, but if little kids can do it, I know we can do it as well, and it will help you develop your confidence tremendously. So give it a try. Next, share topics that are passionate about you in life. So if you're going to give a talk about anything, try talking about things that you love, something that you're really passionate about. Because when you start sharing things that you really enjoy, normally the speech will be a lot better. Don't talk about things that you are not very familiar with, because those are the times that will actually make you feel more nervous. And next, all right. Practice, practice, practice. I always tell my students that if you want to really become natural and authentic on stage, you got to practice a lot, because when you practice so much, your speech will start to be internalized in here, not in your head. So it'll start to just flow out of you. So practice a lot until it just starts coming out naturally. And embrace mistakes. Whenever you deliver a speech in front of your club or you're just practicing, don't be afraid to make mistakes, because those are the moments that actually will help you to realize how to correct something that you need to do better. So don't look at mistakes as things that are negative. Look at them as positive things and embrace them. They are there to help you. Next,
Okay.
don't be afraid to be vulnerable. So if you feel like you are exposed or you're sharing something very sensitive on stage, don't be afraid to do that, because that's when the audience connects with you the best, when you are a vulnerable speaker. So it's okay to feel vulnerable on stage. Okay, Jackie? Vic?
Later，Yeah，
Thank you.
好，我来稍微初步的翻译一下，就是第一点就是赶快加入 Toastmaster 分会，然后再来就是主动创造演讲机会，不要等待了，学会在不舒适的地方找到舒适，尝试在不同的场合练习，譬如其他的分会、公园、空旷的停车场或学校操场。没有错，这个是非常好的方法，因为我真的用过，然后真的很有效。然后选择自己热爱的话题，然后并且一直分享，并且不断的练习，然后将演讲的内容内化，就是变成自己的语言，然后接受自己的错误，然后勇于展现自己的脆弱，然后透过持续的练习与勇敢的尝试，逐步克服公开演讲的恐惧。这是 Mike Honda 他的经验分享。好，OK，next question is about as for the upcoming contest. Please share what are the important elements for a winning speech. 就是即将到来的比赛，演讲比
All
赛，
right.
请
Thank you,
给我们一
Victor.
些重要的方法。OK，
Okay, so there are a lot of tips, and I don't know that everybody can get all these tips. So I'm going to just share some general tips with you. You can write these down and try to use them if you'd like, because I think these are the most useful ones. So number one, check the stage before you speak. Surprises are not your friend. So if you are going to a speech contest, what I usually like to do is I actually like to usually go to the speech before the speech contest, whether it's the day before or even on the day of the speech contest. Go there, check out the stage, get on the stage, see what it's like, see how big it is, and look for things that are unexpected, because the unexpected things are the things that will surprise you. And if you have surprises during your speech contest, it might actually startle you or make you nervous. So check things out. Go to the stage before you speak and make sure you know exactly what it looks like and how it feels. Next, acknowledge the contest chair. So make sure that when you get on stage, you actually acknowledge the person that's introducing you onto the stage. Most oftentimes, I see a lot of speakers that get on stage, they start speaking, but they completely forget about the contest chair. So make sure you acknowledge that person. Very important person. Next, practice the speaker stance. And what I mean by that is, there's a certain way that people stand on stage that exudes confidence, shows that you're confident, and your body speaks volumes. It's not what you say, but it's how you look on stage. So stand straight, keep your feet straight, hands on your side, smile, and show people that you are ready. You don't even have to open your mouth when you have your speaker stance. It's just showing people before you start that you are ready to deliver your speech. It's called the speaker stance. Next, use the 5-second rule. Other people have 3 seconds, but when you get on stage, don't speak right away, because oftentimes the audience and even the judges are not even ready for you, even after the contest chair has introduced you onto the stage. Wait 5 seconds, because if they are doing something and you start speaking, it's not good for you as a speaker because they're not listening. So they have to wait 5 seconds and wait for that silent moment. Then everybody looks up and says, "What's going on?" And now they're all paying attention to you, and that's the moment that you speak. So I usually call that the 5-second rule. Give it a try at your next speech, at your club or wherever, and try that 5-second rule. Works like a charm. Now, for most speeches, this is my rule. It doesn't have to be exactly the same, but for a 5 to 7 minute speech in Toastmasters, your words should be about 600 to 650 words. Try to keep it around in that range. I mean, when I first started, my speeches used to be about 1,200 words. It's way too much. Even 800 was too much. 600 to 650 should be the right amount of words that you should be speaking for 5 to 7 minutes. Next, use the power of pauses. And so this is kind of connected to the 600 to 650 words. Even less than that would be great, because actually oftentimes when you're on stage and you are speaking, it's not often how much you say, but it's what you say. And when you pause, you give a moment to the audience to think about what you're saying, especially at very important moments of your speech. So pauses are very powerful. So try to use them in your speech when you deliver it next time. They are very powerful. Next, use simple language. I often call this the keep it simple, stupid rule, the KISS rule. What that means is, I often find that even with adults and kids, when they are delivering their speech, they like to try to show off and say fancy words in their speech because they think that that might ooh and ah the audience and the judges. Wow, look at the fancy words he's using. But most oftentimes, the audience and the judges are thinking something else. I have no idea what he just said because the words are too complicated. So the rule that I always follow is that the language that you use have to be so simple that even a grade 4 student will be able to understand what you're saying. Okay, so it's not the complexity of the words that make your speech better. It's the simplicity of your words. So use simple language at all times. It's more powerful that way. Next, be authentic. And if you don't know what authentic means, it just basically means be yourself on stage. The way you talk to people off the stage with your friends is most often the way you should be on the stage. People want to see you. And if you're not being yourself, people can sense that it's not really you. The example I give to my students is, how do I be authentic? Well, you're sitting at a coffee shop with your friend and you're chatting over coffee or tea with your friend. How do you talk to them? And that is exactly the way you talk to the people when you're on stage. Be authentic. That's the best way to be as a speaker. Next, use the right body language. So what I mean by that is try not to show the outside palms of your outside part of your hands when you're speaking on stage. Show the palms. The palms show that you are being honest and open with the audience. This shows that you're hiding things or being dishonest. So always try to show this. Don't use overly dramatic body language as well. Very simple, easy body language is best. Next, move with purpose. I often find that a lot of people, including students, when they move back and forth and swing back and forth when they're talking, but there's no real purpose for that. So try not to do any stage movements that are not related to exactly what you're saying at the moment. Your body language and your stage movements have to speak with purpose. So it has to match what you're saying so that it helps the audience understand in describing what you're saying better. Okay? Next, don't wear bright or fluorescent suits or dresses. I once had a student that wore a fluorescent dress, believe it or not. It was very bright. And after she spoke, one of the judges came up to me and said, "Wow, her dress was so bright. That's all I could ever think about." So it actually took away from her message in the speech because the judge was so focused on that bright dress. It took away from what she was saying on stage. So try not to wear anything too bright. I think that can work against the speaker. Try to wear something neutral or dark. That always works best. And professional speakers, most of the time, always wear something darker. Okay. And the last thing is, like Hannah Cheng said in her speech, I thought it was a wonderful message. And I share this with all my students. You know, if you're nervous, if you're scared, or if you're not, if you're afraid to try, we'll never be ready. Just start. You'll find a way. And most oftentimes, the times that you feel not ready are the moments that you are. So give it a try. You might have some great experiences. Okay, thank you, Victor.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Mike. And我简单的翻译一下，就是在舞台演讲的实用技巧。那在第一点，在演讲前先检查舞台，那避免意外。我们在演讲前，我们都可以站在舞台上，我们可以去做一些走走动，去看一下观众席的状况，这是第一个。然后第二个，我们在上台的时候，我们可以向比赛主席去做致意的动作，练习演讲者的姿势。比如，就是我们站在演讲，我们还没讲之前，我们可以先做我们的姿势，可以是轻松，可以保持是我们想要演讲的姿势，然后可以停顿5秒，让不要立即开始说话，让裁判可以看到我们准备好我们的演讲。然后再来是5到7分钟的演讲，它会包含约600到650个字。然后在演讲的时候善用停顿的力量，因为我们在演讲的时候，我们可能一直讲一直讲，那裁判或者是观众没办法去做去思考，我们可以稍微停顿，让我们的演讲可以让他们可以想到哪讲到哪想到哪，然后使用的文字是简单的，然后可以展现真实的自我，让大家都可以知道你意思，最重要。然后运用适当的肢体语言，比如说展示我们的手掌，对，并有目的的移动，然后再来是避免穿着过于鲜艳或荧光的服装，这会让裁判可能会觉得说 我是要 focus，我是要 focus 在你服装，还是要 focus 在你的 focus 在你的演讲？然后最后一点就是，正如我们的 Hannah 正，就是开始就好了，你会找到方法的，Just do it。OK，这是我的初步的一个翻译。那就那现在我们的上半场差不多已经接近了尾声，那我们的下半场就是我们的 Joseph，然后我要 Welcome Joseph to Mandarin the next session.
Thank
Okay,
you so much.
welcome. Thanks, Mike. Again, thank you. You're sharing and you invite our Gable Club Olivia to deliver us a very wonderful speech. Yes, because Olivia is a champion last year, right? So thank you. Okay, welcome, Joseph.
Wonderful. And everybody, please leave some comments in the chat for both Mike and his moderator, Victor. The two of them, I think, did a wonderful job, and your comments and encouragement can do a lot. That was just some great sharing, fantastic work. Our next section is about evaluations. 所以今天我们虽然是用一个双语的方式来进行，但是这个环节我们先会以英文为主，中文为辅。接下来我们有 TJF， 感谢主是星期五，我们台北北部的一个分会的创会的会长林年青 Lester Lin， 他今天带的内容是告诉我们要怎么进行讲评。Lester Lin 他的特点是在我们分会当中，他就是最厉害的 individual evaluator。他就是这几年一直在练习，然后他分享的工作坊，我看了好几遍，感觉每一次比上一次越来越好。今天他要透过我们去年世界演讲比赛亚军 Hannah 的演讲进行分析，透过这个分析跟我们说，到底什么叫做一个好的讲评？到底我们要怎么进入这个讲评比赛，表现我们最好的技巧？So today, Lester Lin will be using Hannah's speech as a way to talk about evaluation and to help us grow as evaluators. We will start with Lester's presentation. There will be a video of Hannah's speech for all of us to enjoy and remember. And then he will give us tools and elements in Hannah's speech to help us prepare for the evaluation contest. Even if you're not competing, Lester's tips offer a lot for us as evaluators and everyday life skills. I think really his evaluation tips are very, very helpful. And so now it is my pleasure to welcome Lester. He'll be sharing in English first, and then I will, in a short 5 minutes at the end, try to do what Victor did. Please pray for me. I don't know if I'll do it as well. Let's welcome Lester Lin. And feel free to unmute, good sir. We're good.
Okay.
Glad to see you. There you go.
Can you all see my screen right now?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Hello. It's my pleasure to be giving this presentation. Last summer, I had the opportunity to go to Los Angeles, or actually Santa Clara, for the 100th Toastmasters year celebration, and also for the contest for the World Championship. And of course, that was the highlight. The contest was the highlight of the whole experience. And to be there for a 100th year celebration, for sure, I'm not going to be there for the next 100th year celebration. Some of you might, but it was a chance of a lifetime to be there. So without further ado, here we have Hannah Chung. After she had confirmed she was the second place world champion with her speech, "Are You Ready?" And today, this is sort of like an unusual angle at giving an evaluation workshop for this portion, because we're going to do something in reverse. I'm going to first give you some spoilers because we're going to be watching her video, but I'm going to give you some certain things to watch for carefully while you're watching the video, and then we're going to come back. I'll come back after we watch the video, and we'll start analyzing, like dissecting for the minute details of this speech. So, let's see, I'm having problems with, okay, we tried this before, but I'm not able to advance my screen. Okay. So Hannah was drawn as the 8th speaker out of 8 people in the finals. And always that's an envious position to be in, because you're the last speech that the judges see. And her storyline was about how she got into Toastmasters. This is one of the oldest and most overused subjects of speech content in Toastmasters speeches. Jim Key, the 2003 world champion, he said, orderly, I recommend that people do not incorporate Toastmasters in your speech. But she did a masterful job in her playfulness of that. So generally, it's not a good idea to use this in contest speeches, but she just really nailed it. In Hannah's delivery, what made it so good? Despite being her Toastmasters journey, her delivery was spectacular. Her body language, her facial expression, and also her speech storyline was magnificent. It was magical. It was technically brilliant. And so I'm going to cover, after we see the speech, why it was technically so good. And that's why it was a standout from so many thousands of other Toastmasters journey speeches that have been given over the years. But before we watch the speech, I want to give you an assignment to look for different things about this speech through the eyes of an evaluator. And here we go. Her speech was approximately 669 words, just like Mike was giving the suggestions for how long a speech would be. Her speech was 669 words. It was technically brilliant because it was a great example of efficient use of less words to say more. Also, her body language and facial expressions said so much without even needing to say words. That was very unique. And it was a very fast-moving storyline. So while you watch, I want you to pay special attention to her body language and facial expression. She does such a masterful job of execution of the feminine body language of a young woman. She faces possible romance, awkwardness, anticipation, reluctance, frustration, and elation. She was cute in a girly way, but not gaudy girly. Some young women, sometimes I see them doing a speech and it's laid on so thick, the cutesy stuff, and it was distracting, but hers was just so amazing to watch. Also pay special attention to her vocal variety. Mike talked about the use of pauses. Watch her use of pauses. Even some gasps, even doing vocal variety by not even speaking verbally, but it was accompanied by strong body language and facial expressions that spoke instead of using words. This was something that was particularly masterful about this speech. So, in addition, technically, why this was so excellent, in this speech, there are 4 different threads. A thread is something that you see maybe at the beginning of the speech, sometime else during the speech, and throughout the speech, this thread keeps on coming up. And it makes you feel at home. It's something that you start, every time you hear it, you're getting more and more familiar with the speech, and you can start anticipating. So I want you to try to identify 4 different threads as you're listening. Number 2, try to track how many times each of these threads showed up through the speech. The second thing I want you to watch for is misleading twists. These are what I call a fake. So in basketball, if you're covering someone, sometimes the player will move this direction and immediately cut the other direction. It's supposed to fake you out and catch you by surprise. She does this 4 different times. So watch and try to identify the time she does the twists and fakes. And then the audience laughs. Try to find the words, try to remember the words that triggered the laughs and how many small laughs, medium laughs, big laughs, or enormous laughs that you could count during the speech. So with that in mind, okay, let's watch the speech. I'm going to turn this over to Patty, who's got this all queued up, and let us watch Hannah's speech. I'm cutting out.
好，所以 Patty 在准备影片的当中，我们就先跟大家说一下。所以我们等一下要看这个影片的一个Hannah 的比赛。那要注意的几点就是，第一，他的表现可能就是身体或者是他怎么用他的脸表达一些情绪；第二，他的剧情；第三，他的用词。然后 Lester 建议大家要找到他的演讲的4个重点，可能就是有4个概念，就会一直重复在他的演讲当中。所以这是我们今天晚上的一个挑战。好 ，Patsy。
Are you ready? Are you ready? Hannah Cheng.
Thank you, Contest Chair.
You're welcome.
Oh, as to the question, are you ready? The answer is, of course, not. Have you ever wanted to do something? Traveling around the world, starting your own business, taking on new challenges, but you didn't feel ready to do it. I know how it feels. I was born and raised in Hong Kong. When I was 21, I traveled to Europe for the first time. It is where water is more expensive than wine, where people would kiss you on the cheek, where pineapples on pizzas are illegal. Mamma mia! So interesting. That trip sparked a desire. I want to live abroad. And then my mom said, living abroad? Honey, you don't even know how to cook. Why don't you finish your law degree first? Yeah, Mom. Maybe it's too early. After 5 years, I finished my law degree. I got my lawyer's license. I want to live abroad. Then my sister said, exactly, Hannah, you just got your lawyer's license. You should start working first. And you still don't know how to cook. Well, makes sense. After 5 more years, I've worked hard for 5 years. I want to live abroad. And then my inner voice said, Hannah, oh, Hannah, you spent 10 years building your career in Hong Kong, now you want to give it up, you crazy? Have you ever wanted to do something, but the voices around you, even the voices inside you, told you that you're not ready? One day, I was working in the office when my boss, Mr. Tong, came in. Mr. Tong is a very experienced lawyer, always in a sleek suit. He's my role model. Hannah, let's have lunch together. Oh, sure, Mr. Tong. So we went to his favorite restaurant. We were eating, talking about our cases, when Mr. Tong dropped a bomb. Hannah, I want to promote you as a partner of the law firm, Let's start next month. Mr. Tong, thank you so much, but I don't have enough experience. I'm not ready. And Mr. Tong looked at me like I'm an idiot. Hannah, you will never be ready. Just start. You'll find the way. But Mr. Tong, you're right. I will never be ready. Just start. You're so right. Thank you so much, Mr. Tong. I quit. I'm moving abroad. So I quit my job and moved to Taiwan. Was it easy? No. But Mr. Tong is right. Once you start, you'll find the way. And you know what? In Taiwan, I met my destiny. It was a hot summer day. I was melting, so I dashed into the first cafe I found. And I was greeted by Oscar. Handsome, charming, about my age. We started chatting. Suddenly, Oscar looked at me, straight in the eye. I saw sparkles of passion, and I thought, we just met. It's too fast. I'm not ready. And he asked, Hannah, have you heard of Toastmasters? Toast? What? Oscar, I don't know how to cook. But Mr. Tong said, just start. You'll find the way. So I joined. And Oscar became my mentor. We have so much chemistry. After 6 months, finally, this time, he asked me the question, Hannah, would you join the speech contest? I'm not ready, okay? But what did Mr. Tong say? So I joined the contest, and I regretted it. I had no idea what to say. I felt lost. I wanted to run away from this. I didn't feel ready. But I knew I would never be ready. So I started. And here I am. Is there something that you've always wanted to do? A better you that you've always wanted to be, but you don't feel ready? Maybe you're afraid of the unknown, afraid that you're not good enough, afraid that you may fail. But the truth is, you will never be ready. So don't wait. It's never too early. It's never too late. Just start. You'll find the way. Contest chair.
Okay, I'm back. How was that? You can open up your chats because we're going to have some interactive questions. This will be a little bit tricky, but let's see how that works. Okay. Here we are with the leg. Okay. So remember, In this speech, there were 4 different threads. And I'm going to ask you to try to identify them. Is there anybody, like you would have to unmute, but anybody want to identify some of the threads? Okay, I think this might be tricky online. So I won't play the guessing game, but we will look at the different threads that were in the speech. Okay. The first thread started with, "Are you ready?" And amazingly, this showed up 12 times in the speech. To be able to come back to this thought, "Are you ready?" That is so masterful to be able to do that 12 times in 669 words. Then there was, "I want to live abroad," which was used 4 times. "I don't know how to cook." It was used 3 times. "Just start, you'll find a way," variations were used for 5 different times. Can you imagine that 24 different threads appeared in this speech? Technically, that is why I think it is so masterful. Number 2, there were 4 misleading twists. Okay, so right off the bat, when she's introduced by the contest master, who said, "Hannah Chung, are you ready? Are you ready, Hannah Chung?" So it starts, and she said, "Oh, as to the question, are you ready?" She bounced right off the contest master. "Are you ready?" "Of course not." So it's amazing within just her first sentence how she was able to bounce off the contest master. And she did so much. She faked us, she did the twist, and it was masterful. Another time was, "I quit," when she had made partner, for a law firm. That's every lawyer's dream, is to make partner, because then the big money starts coming in and the status and all this. And from his advice, where she said, "Oh, I'm going to accept it," she said, "I quit." Then there was Oscar. "Do you know Toastmasters?" That was a twist. She thought he was going to ask her out for a date. All right. And then the second time, he has sparkles in his eyes, and she thinks he's going to pop the big question to ask her to be his girlfriend. And instead he asked, "Will you join the contest?" That was 4 twists there. And the last will come to later. All right. So we see, I did a diagram of the speech. If you see off to the side, that there's the speech. Okay. Now you can't read the words, but it's color coded. If you see the 12 times she's talking about, "Are you ready? I'm not ready," etc. Look how many times in the speech you see the blue. Okay. Then the other times is like the twists. Look at the red. How many times it comes up. "I want to live abroad." It's harder to see the gray, but it comes up 4 times. "I don't know how to cook." "Just start, you'll find the way." All that is amazing, how the whole speech interweaves with twists and the threads over and over again. That's why I think it was so masterful. You can look at the whole speech again and just see it's like a rainbow of technicolor. So the time she said, "I'm not ready," said it was very clever to bounce off the contest master, because if she used the contest master to start reinforcing her thread there, "Are you ready?" By the time she's finished her first sentence, you've already heard "Are you ready?" 4 times, because she used the contest master and then she used it herself 2 more times. So that's amazing. And then she continues to use this "Are you ready?" thread another 8 times. She did it with Mr. Tong 3 times. Are you ready? I'm not ready. With Oscar 3 times. She used it in her conclusion. And then the same thing with the surprise twists. Okay. Are you ready, Hanny Chung? The answer, of course, is of course not. Twist 1. Thank you so much, Mr. Tong. I quit. Huge laughter because it faked the audience. The next twist. I quit. I'm moving abroad. All right. And there was that thread again. Oscar, have you heard of, she's saying, Hannah, have you heard of Toastmasters? That was the twist. And would you join the speech contest? And then finally, and so I started, and here I am at the finals of the World Champions. She didn't have to say that, but this is how efficient she was with the words, not having to give details, but you already know what she's talking about. She talked with her mother, her sister, about not being able to cook. She brought up toast with Oscar, and basically it's amazing how she brought that thread up over and over again. And the I want to live abroad 5 times, just start, you'll find the way, and how beautifully it was used in the ending. Now let's look at body language. Okay, this is little clips of when she was doing the body language. Okay, so if you start at the top left corner, Oscar looked at me straight in the eye. Look at the seriousness on her face. I saw sparks of passion. Her eyes are wide. Her voice, her face is bright. Oh, we just met, you know? And it's like, we can't do this so early. I'm so, embarrassed, awkward. It's too fast. Both of her hands on her lap. I'm not ready. Okay. And then the cutesy, oh. And then suddenly, Oscar looked at me. Hannah, have you heard of Toastmasters? Look at the surprise on her face. Huh? Toast? Oscar, I don't know how to cook. And then you watch her face. It's like sort of like a shame. I don't know how to cook. But then Mr. Tong said, her face brightens again. Just start and you'll find a way. Look how much was said in that body language. Isn't it incredible? And so Oscar became my mentor. Okay. And without saying words on the last 2 photos, she stops and you just see the joy on her body language, and then the wonder and a gasp at the same time. That's what was really incredible. And then he asked her to be in the contest. And so this is her reaction. So I joined. Hannah, will you join the contest? She rolls her eyes up. Oh, you gotta be kidding. Rolls her eyes to the left, rolls her eyes to the right, and then emphatically, I'm not ready. Look at that face, okay? The exasperation that she's exuding. But then she has to reflect. What did Mr. Tong say? And with silence, she's not saying a single word. She puts out her hands like, oh gosh, what did Mr. Tong say? And then she closes her eyes, sort of like, I know what he said, but I don't want to do this. And finally, it's like, okay, Mr. Tong. So I joined the contest. Just masterful with not even speaking, but saying so much. So she joins the contest, and this is why in 669 words, it was so technically brilliant because of the efficient use of words, body language, and facial expressions that said so much, and a fast-moving storyline. Look how she takes us from birth to world champion competition. Look at the storyline. Born in Hong Kong, jumped 21 years ahead, traveled to Europe, dreamed to live abroad, jumped 5 more years ahead and earned her law degree, jumped 5 more years ahead to Mr. Tong promoting her to partner. Then she quit and moved to Taiwan in 1 sentence. And in 2 sentences, she had quit, moved to Taiwan, and met Oscar. She joined Toastmasters. Then she joined a speech contest. And here she is at the world champion of finals of public speaking. And her conclusion was, just start and you'll find the way. She had a meaningful dialogue with herself, her mother, her sister, Mr. Tong, and Oscar. Meaningful dialogues with 5 different people. Absolutely amazing. So, in conclusion, there is one place, a divine opportunity that was, her conclusion was so masterful. But this was the 100th year celebration of Toastmasters. I didn't see one other speaker that capitalized on this. And here she is, the last speaker at this 100-year event. So, where she said, so I started and here I am. Here's a conclusion that I might propose, although hers was just picture perfect, something that it could have capitalized on the event. So, and here I am. In 1903, a young man, at the age when I went to Europe, started a speaking club. It's not Oscar. And when he moved because of job promotion, that club faltered and failed. So starting clubs, moving for his job, and the speech clubs dying when he left, repeated again and again for the next 21 years. Finally, one club took root, and here we are, 100 years later, holding up a wine cup, a toast to Dr. Smedley for just starting and finding your way. Cheers. Sure, then the audience would clap. And as she takes a step towards leading, she stops and looks at the audience. I just made toast. I can finally cook and leave. So that's probably not an improvement on her speech, but it would be a way to capitalize on an amazing event and something that all the Toastmasters could relate to, because we are, that's the key of the Toast and Toastmasters, making a toast. Then she underlined again more of her threads and her themes. And with that, I will conclude my part of the presentation on Hannah Chung's speech. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Absolutely masterful analysis going through there and analyzing just the elements of Hannah's speech and what really made it work. And again, it starts to get more and more detailed each time I've seen it. And if you look in the chat, people are just really impressed. So wonderfully done there. And to round out your section, I believe we still have time for this. I think we're going to maybe share just a few tips about preparing for the evaluation contest. I think you showed a really good evaluation breaking down Hannah's performance and her word usage and all of that. But just very briefly, are you able to present just a couple of tips for the evaluation contest?
Okay, so that was something that took another 45 minutes in our normal speech evaluation workshop. But there are some things, for instance, for advanced evaluation, where sometimes you can bounce off the speaker. So if the speaker was perhaps talking about cooking, you might be able to use a template of, oh, so just like Victor talked about cooking, I will like to talk about his speech like preparing a meal. First, you have your entree, a salad or a soup, and that is like the opening of the speech. And, you want to make sure that you're nice and hot, making a difference or making the first impression of your speech. Then you have the main course. Then you have finally the meat and potatoes of it. And it needs to be done right. The presentation needs to look good, the visuals and all this. And you correlate that with giving a speech. And finally, the conclusion, the dessert. Leave a sweet taste in the mouth of your audience. Sometimes I like to think about an airplane. If like in your opening, you need to be full power. You need to get the people on board with you, and you've got to get it off the ground. And certainly your speech had all those traits of powerful opening, getting people on board with your speech, and taking off. And then comes the cruise where the audience settles in, you're going along and they're enjoying the speech, so where you lay out the body of your speech. And then finally comes the landing, which is very precarious because you're going at a high speed and you're going to come down, make contact with the ground, and then really pull it to a stop and slow it down and finish. So these are like little templates that you could do to make your evaluation more creative. And I think there's just so much in that. My goal in this one using Hannah is to see a lot of very micro fine points, maybe some areas where you might not normally hear about, because when you're competing, you need to stand out above the rest of the evaluators. And you want to look for things that nobody else saw and can talk intelligibly about it, because they're always the obvious that maybe out of 8 evaluators, the audience is going to hear it 6 or 7 times, these main points. But sometimes to be original and to stand out, look for some of these little smaller details, the fine art, and to talk intelligibly about that will make you a standout and make you memorable to the judges and to your audience. Back to you, Joe.
Wonderful tips. I absolutely love this. Now, I've noticed that it's 9:07, so we're getting a little bit behind schedule. So I think now I'll be entering the summary portion in Chinese, and then we'll go over to our next section. But Lester, again, I want to thank you so much for sharing. 好，当然今天 Lester 连念听他今天分享的内容超级多，我要做一个初步翻译的话，我没办法像 Victor 做的那么的顺利。但是我们先讲一下那个 Hannah 她主要的内容，因为 Lester 是以他的演讲为主，所以今天他跟我们说，好 Hannah 她的演讲里面有一些概念、片语或者画面就不断的重复，可能就是做饭或者去国外，或者是 Toastmasters 我们的组织本身，然后跟我们说他用了一个短短的669个词，重复这么多内容，然后他分享的故事是从他出生到当下那个时刻，他分享的故事超级长，但是他用了一个很短的方式，所以呢，他不仅是用这些概念的重复，他也有一些意外的转折，就是那些 twist。你以为他在讲 A， 但其实他在讲 B， 这个就让你的观众觉得哦，他讲的内容非常有吸引力。所以那时注意到 Hannah 她的演讲虽然很短，但是她有几次一直在转，就是有这种意外，你没想到她其实在讲这个东西。比如说，哦，我以为他要求婚啊，他要请我参加 Toastmasters， 哈。所以呢，虽然通常我们在比赛当中不要用 Toastmasters 当一个主题，但是因为他很妙的就是用这种意外的转折，其实他讲 Toastmasters 对那些观众来说也是非常有趣的内容。第三 ，Lester 花更多时间在谈肢体语言，然后 Hannah 的表情就有很多照片，你看他其实一直在动眼睛，动他的脸。就让你觉得哦，他虽然不再说话，他其实身体还在讲话。所以呢，我们就从 Lester 他今天分享的内容可以看到，你在做讲评，可以分析哪些内容，比如说他用的文词，他用的画面有没有重复， 有没有转折？它的转折有效吗？它这样重复，你觉得有趣吗？还是重复了太多遍？然后肢体语言用的怎么样？适合他吗？还是可以改善？接下来 Lester 也是跟我们分享一些可以当讲评模板，一些 evaluation templates。所以他是说，按照你听到的内容，可以按照那个内容开始准备你的讲评。所以比如说讲着他在分享做饭的故事，那你就可以用做饭菜单当你的讲评的模板。所以比如说，好，前菜，你的前菜非常精彩，就是它的 opening 开场。好，那你的主饭、你的主食怎么样？基本的内容。好，那你的结尾那个甜点如何？或者是跟飞机有关的登机、起飞那些过程都如何？其实这些都可以当你的模板。但是呢，奖评比赛，你有8个人或者更多人要跟你一起比赛，问题来了，你要怎么脱口而出？你要怎么就让大家觉得哦，我的奖评比别的人更优秀、更有趣？Leslie 的意见是，你要找到那些非常小的细节，因为有很多人可能会说，哦，我觉得你的肢体语言可以改善，但是是不是有一些更小的细节，你的眼睛看到，但是其他的参赛者看不到？所以这些就是今天 Leslie 他分享的意见。那今天那个奖评比赛的分析分享就是一个短板，接下来之后我也可以给你我们在 TGF Born to Shine 的 YouTube 频道 Lester 有一个长期的影片1个小时，要是你觉得我还是看不完，我还是要继续看，那我们在 YouTube 还是可以看。好，所以这是我们今天 Lester 的分享，非常感谢大家。然后接下来 English mode baby, we're gonna go into prepare your speech contest judges criteria. And I am looking forward to listening to this. And so we're going to be welcoming up our DTM Chinchi to share more about judging criteria. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Joss. So we're gonna change our language mode. 让我们转换到中文模式。好的，有看到我的荧幕吗？
有。
好，谢谢。OK，好，那我们前面2位 coaches 已经就分享了很多怎么去准备比赛，在 prepare speech、international speech 跟 evaluation speech 怎么去准备。那在这个部分有一点像是做一个 summary， 做一个 final review。我们从评分标准里面，其实这些 judging criteria 这些评分标准，其实刚刚2位就都已经有提到了。那所以我们就再来看一下这个评分标准。这些评分标准其实就是你准备你这个演讲的方向。好，那这份讲义资料是参考有我们 rulebook， 有智慧总会网站的资料，还有非常感谢我们在去年11月11号的时候有办理裁判评分演练跟实务分析的时候，那一位trainer 也是我们的 DTM Doris 提供的 PPT， 所以用它去做修改，然后变成今天的讲义资料。非常感谢以上的资料来源。好，然后照理说应该是 Doris 出来，可是因为他们说要派新人，要派年轻的人来，所以 I'm very honored to be recognized as young. OK， 好，那我们就先来看看这个 International Speech Contest Judging Criteria 是哪些。那这些就是你们在准备比赛的演讲稿的时候应该要注意的。总共有3个类别 ，3 parts：content、delivery 跟 language。哪一个最重要？还是以内容为最重要，它占了一半，50%。那在 delivery 表达技巧也很重要，刚才他们也都讲过，好，占了30%。再来语言的部分，当然20%。好，那等于这我们也有国语版就跟英文版的一模一样，只不过就是一个翻译而已哈，所以英文版的看不太懂，来看一下国语版的哈。好，我们就来一个一个看。在 content 的部分，主要有3个地方，就是你的演讲布局，你的 speech development， 你演讲布局它的架构啊、组织啊，你有没有 supporting material？ 这个部分就在50分里面，它占了15分。好，当然就是 这15分里面，裁判对于你在这个部分做的好不好，他们会在就是从0.5到15分里面去给你分数。那再来，那这个的细节的说明，因为我们后面这段时间可能比较有限哈，那我就带过大家，就是这个什么叫演讲布局，什么叫这个什么架构应该怎么样，组织应该怎么样，有需要哪些佐证资料？其实前面在那个第一位我们的 coach 就已经也有提过，那大家也可以去看里面的说明，在这个judging criteria 里面这边就内容上面有做说明。好，那在第二个就是在康谈里面的第二部分就是这个演讲的效果，比如说刚才那个Hannah 的speech 里面有很多那个 laughters， 就是观众里面的笑声，其实这个都是一种也是一种效果，让裁判这个效果很不错哦。好，那当然这个还包括他的这个演讲的目的有没有达成，他的 message 观众有没有接收到。那趣味性啊，好，那趣味性怎么判断？其实像观众的反应就是裁判会参考的指标。好，然后还有就是接受度嘛，那我觉得观众的回应其实也是接受度的一种证明。再来，这个占了10分。好，最重要的在这个内容上面最重要的比重，这25分占了一半，就是你的 speech value。我觉得这个就是很重要的，不是大家笑笑就过了，而是笑完之后还能有收获。You learn something from the speech. It's meaningful, impressive. 好，那就是你这个论点，你有没有你这个演讲的价值的论点如何？好，整个逻辑性是否合理？好，还有是不是有创意？那这个创意也要合乎我们的在大家可以理解的范围。好，这个就是整个你的这个 speech 的 core value， 所以这个核心，你这个演讲的核心价值一定要找好，因为这占了25%。好，那再来这个表达，我们有很好的内容，你的表达技巧当然也是非常的重要，它就占了30%，好，不可忽视。在你的外在表现、形体表现，包括你的穿着。好，那你的肢体语言跟还有你的不是只是定点站而已，你有做移动，你有去利用整个舞台，这个都在 physical 里面。好，在这个你的外在形体表现上面。那这个衣着不是说要打扮的非常的华丽，我觉得就是你可以有适合你演讲的打扮，比如说你如果今天讲的是一篇你在煮菜的时候，或许你可以打扮成厨师，或者是有种煮菜的打扮。那如果说你没有特别想不出来可以做什么打扮，那就是打扮的越漂亮越帅越好Dress as your best。OK， 好，那你的声音表现就是你要有高低起伏，而不是那，好，就是会跟着，其实你的声音也是就是跟着你的演讲，有这种不同的呈现，抑扬顿挫要做出来。那就在的态度，我觉得那个态度你会发现说，那个好的演讲者，像那个 Hannah， 整个就会让人家觉得哇，他是很你可以感受到他的 patience， 他的 confidence。好，所以这个态度就是我们所谓的，也是我们的所谓的台风。好，你的就是很 direct， 不会觉得好像扭扭捏捏，你是很 direct 的，好，很有自信，然后很热忱，让人家感觉到你真的是很热爱这个舞台，热爱这个演讲。所以我觉得那个气势就是要拿出来。你的内容或许你对你的内容没关系，不管怎么样，对我已经很认真在准备这篇了，就是那个 power 把它拿出来就对了，你就赢人家一半。好，这个刚才没有跳哈。好，再来就是最后一部分占了20%，所以也不要担心，就是好像是我又不是，比如说参加英语演讲比赛的，我又不是这个 native speaker， 我的英文不好，没有关系哈，因为语言的部分不是占很重。所以呢，如果你的英文真的，比如说你要参加英文演讲比赛，可是你的英文对自己的英文能力又没有那么自信的时候，我们前面第一位trainer 就有讲到，尽量用简单的用词用语，不要讲得太难。 因为你也要让你的观众听得懂，你讲的太难太文学，其实观众没有办法收到你要传达的讯息，那都是你就浪费了，你浪费你花的时间，你准备了那么久，所以simple language， 大家可以听得懂的，我觉得就可以了。所以这个语言讲的是就是用词用语是否适当。好，如果而且我们观众里面也是有掺杂着各种不同领域的，像然后再想说，哎，那到国际舞台上呢？有啊，国际舞台上其实也有来自各个不同的国家，那些国家里面来的人，他们英文或许也不是那么的好，所以我觉得简单的语言就可以了。好，那就当然就是这个适当还有正确，因为比较简单的时候，你那个文法的正确性比较能够掌握住，而且我们现在又有 Chat GPT 可以帮我们修改文法，所以在这一点上面，我想现在在准备这种演讲稿上面，应该就会比较简单。好，这个是在international speech 上面的怎么准备？那这是我们的judging criteria， 就有这几点好来进行准备。那你们就可以看到，在不同类型不同类型的演讲内容，好，他们的就是评分标准会有一些不一样。那不管怎么样，都是内容占的最重要的部分，再来就是表达技巧，那再来就是用词用语。那讲评比赛呢？讲评比赛的评分标准呢，有4大类，好，包括那个分析，然后一样有你的讲评里面有没有去做到分析，有没有建议？那你这个讲评的技巧如何？好，最后有没有做总结？这4个部分都要包含到。那最重要的就是，好，所以我们可以来看它的比重。分析能力占的40%，好，就这边，我们一样来看好了。分析能力最为重要，好，你的分析有没有具体精简，好，而不是就很杂乱呐，没有逻辑。这个占了40%，好，要合乎。所以你可以就是你可以有你的逻辑，所以你就可以一点一点。所以如果你要让它比较有清楚明了的话，或许条列式一条一条说，这样会比较简单一点。好，那再来就是那这分析里面就包含你有没有分析到它的优点，那有没有给予？那再来就是它的弱点。其实那个弱点，其实你可以把它放在建议这边，就是给他那个弱点。其实因为我没有说要正面嘛，好，那你讲到他，如果他哪里不好，那就变成好像又是在比较负面，所以你倒不如就是用建议的方式这边去讲出，那个演讲这个在这篇演讲里面可以做得更好的地方，那就是给他的建议。好，那这个建议就是可以改进的地方，这个改进是可行的。好，然后那通常在所谓的正面是说，或许如果你可以再做到怎么样的话，而不是你没有做到这个，你可以有这个其实也是这个就是下面一个15%的表达技巧。那你是不是能够在给他建议的时候，是不是能够也有那种同理心？温和友善，而不是让他觉得很受挫。好，那最后就是总结，你有分析完优点，然后要给他的建议完之后，你是不是有？所以你要留时间，记得哦，一定要做总结，因为没有的话，裁判就没有办法给你这15分。所以这个就是有时候我们其实，在例会里面的讲评，你没有这个总结无所谓，但是因为今天是比赛，裁判他就是依照这份评分表去给你分数。那我们当然希望说参加比赛就有机会可以胜出嘛，哈。那所以这个总结一定要有，这个就占了15%。所以记得就是这个也牵涉到你的到时候在准备你的讲评稿的时候的时间布局，你记得一定要留时间，就最后1分钟的时候，要准备做总结了。好。这些哈，刚才我们都讲过了。那他们到时候在讲评比赛的时候，都会有个笔记纸，都会有这样空白的笔记纸。其实你在空白的笔记纸的上面呢，你可以去做画格子，然后就写 你这篇演讲它的针对内容的部分、表达的部分、用语的部分，它的优点、可以改进的地方，给他的建议。最后不要忘了这个总结。好，那还有没有其他应该注意的事项？有4点。第一个，时间千万不要超时，超时你讲的再好都体力量，还有原创性，这个也非常的重要。尤其是如果是你从来没有参加过比赛的，这是你第一次参加比赛的时候，记得在你的演讲，如果是第一位演讲者，可能就不用这个问题。那在第2位演讲者之后呢，你不要去讲到第1位演讲者里面有提到的，因为这个就会变成一种像是你说抄袭嘛？因为这个对第1位演讲者其实不公平的，因为你后面里面有优势，你占的那种优势，所以这个原创性就是不是只有抄外面的，包含抄就是有去提到前面1位演讲者有讲的，你把它拿来，好像就是要引用他的话，那这个就会变成有一点可能到时候会被提出抗议，说你抄袭。好，那这个就是会有抗议，抗议就是会针对原创性，还有参赛资格，还有就是有没有就是抄袭这几部分，所以这个是在准备不管是演讲比赛还有讲评比赛要特别注意的地方。好，那这个是我以上的分享，我把时间交还给我们的主持人。
非常感谢在今天晚上是一个完完全全不同的一个学习的经验。我们从孩子的年龄来学习，同时我们要知道如何去克服我们的演讲的恐惧。主要呢，我们还有学到了这次 public speaking 很多的一些的 tips skill， 做出了很多的了解分析，以及呢如何把这一个 evaluator 的工作做好。那我觉得今天让我们的学习真的很多，更不要说丁奇可能还在感冒是吧？还不够我们来做一个讲就是在财务里面，我们需要知道他们是如何去评估我们的演讲比赛的选手们。那25%是前半段，25%是中半段，25%又是在下半段，75%了。还有25%，靠自己的努力 ，practice。好，现在目前因为时间快到了，事实上来讲的话，恐怕只有2分钟，可是要 stretch 一下时间。请问有没有任何的 Q&A？ 有哪一位的会友？你现在目前有问题，赶快，我只开放2个问题出来，可以吗？有没有任何的会友有对今天的 speaker 有任何的？对，讲得非常的传神，请举手或 virtual 这方面会把你的 camera 打开，来直接2个问题来提问。
Testing。
Sherry，OK，Sherry，麻烦您来，请讲，来 Sherry，请发言 ，Sherry，hello，
好，
也有举手的，好，请说。
a question to Lester about because Hannah started the speech. Well, when the contest master introduced her, then Hannah said, "Thank you, contest chair," and then contest chair said, "You're welcome." So my question is, does Hannah's timing started to count from "Thank you, contest chair," or that doesn't include in the timing? That's my question.
I believe it. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I believe that it's after you thank the contest chair, because this was something that was initiated to have the contest chair ask a question, and then the speaker will answer, and that way they make sure that there's no problem with the microphone or the amplification system, because this way they don't even start. If there's a problem there, then they can stop and they can fix the problem. And I thought that's a really good practice. I hope that we incorporate that into the Taiwan into our Taiwan
Right.
contest. The bounce
because
between the contest master and the speaker, and then it
Yes.
starts.
Because we were usually taught that the first sentences or the first gesture we appear on the platform, I
Right.
mean on stage would be started. Okay, I would be glad. I think we will be glad that to have this to incorporate into all the in-club contest and area
Yeah, I think
division.
it's a new formality, which I think is very good.
Thank you, Lester.
Great. Thank you. That's a very good question. Well, tonight, thank you so much for everyone. 我们每一个讲师都给我们很多很多的滋养，让我们去丰富我们 upcoming 的一个这个成就。所以，我们可不可以有一个 Mindy 做 Master？You ready? We're going to share a certificate. 因为我们的这个 certificate 照理说应该是我们的 PQD，他要亲自给大家。那因为他现在可能还在开会，我要麻烦我们的众 master 帮我 spotlight 我们今天所有的讲师跟我们所有的翻译 moderator 能够协助我们今天在晚上礼拜六来学习。那这些所有的分享对我们未来的一直几个月一直到4月份都是非常非常重要的。We would like to take a group photo, everyone. 请所有的会友，你今天也辛苦了2个钟头，我们的一个学习很开心，要麻烦你把你的这个 camera 打开，如果您愿意的话，当然来这个让我来帮大家来服务。那我们会把我们的 photo 会 post 在我们的 D67 Facebook 的上面 ，D67 Pathway。好，这是有几页哦，有2页，所以我们来微笑 ，Happy Saturday, Happy Learning, 1, 2, 3, smile, yeah. OK 呀，谢谢每一位。我等一下先要 freeze 什么呢？要 freeze，因为我们要走到第2页去。OK， 我们还有第2页的会友们。好，我很快的来第2页的会友们。Jackie, beautiful, handsome smile. Okay, I'm gonna count. 1, 2, 3, smile. That's so wonderful. That is awesome. 谢谢各位。By the way， 今天非常感谢我们每一位讲师、每一位翻译为我们大家服务。最主要呢，就是希望我们在我们的演讲的竞赛的这一个旅途里面能够顺利成功。我们 make into everything into practice， 那也祝大家在开始这个路上，不管你是跟自己竞争也好，跟别人竞争也好，都是非常顺利。所以 thank you so much， happy weekend。我们今天的培训正式的结束，给大家一个掌声 ，thank you， 谢谢。